Hi viewers, welcome back. So in the last session we learned about how to launch the browser using new Chrome driver object and maximizing the browser and navigating to this particular URL. Okay, now we are in this website, right? So now what we are going to learn in this session is we will try to find out this username field, password field and login button, and we will enter the username, password, and we will click on the login. So once we click on the login, it will move to the next screen. Okay, we will verify whether this we are able to do this one successfully or not. Okay, so here in this particular website you can see accepted usernames are you can use any of these username, and the password is secret sauce. Okay, we need to go with this user, any one of this username and this password. Okay, before that we need to find this element. Okay, so see the every screen in the browser is made of the HTML coding. Okay, so we can inspect the HTML elements of this particular screen by right clicking on the screen and click on inspect. We will have this option in the Chrome driver. Okay, Chrome browser, click on inspect. Here you can see you will have this pointer here. You click on this pointer and you can click on any one of the element here. So it will try to give that particular HTML element of this particular field. Okay, so for this username field, this is the HTML element. Okay, so this is the entire HTML code of this particular website. Okay, so using this HTML only, it was displaying this entire screen, this swag logs. So for this one also we'll be having one separate HTML element like this div class login logo. So this is the HTML element for this particular field. So likewise for each and every element there will be one particular corresponding HTML element will be there. Okay, so using that one only in Selenium we can automate. So using this HTML element only, we need to first find out this HTML element, and using that one we can provide some value in that field and we can do the automation. Okay, that's how Selenium will work. Okay, so we need to find the element. So for this username, this is the HTML element. So Control F. So here you can see find by string, selector or export. So in my session most often I will go with the export. So you can learn export in my session. I will have a separate session for learning CSS or using different selector. Okay, so, but more often in my session I will be using going with the export. Okay, so for export first you need to go with double slash. Okay, double slash means inside this HTML element anywhere in the HTML tag, that is the meaning, anywhere is the double slash. Okay, so anywhere you will be finding the input tag. Okay, so inside this HTML entire content you will be having the input tag. So how many input tag here I am having? This is one of the input. So totally here you can see 3 input tags are there. This is one of the input tag, that is username. Now click on this second one. So this password is another input element. Okay, this is username input, this is password input. Okay, and we have one more input, that is login button. Okay, so it will highlight. Okay, using this you can easily see this is highlighting the HTML element and here it is highlighting the field. Okay, when I press second one, it is highlighting password. In the left side it is highlighting the, see here, left side it is highlighting password and right side the respective HTML element. Likewise login button. Okay, so now the problem is we are having 3 different input, but I want to find out only the username input. Okay, for that what we can do is we can use the attribute inside the HTML element. We will be having many attributes. See here, class is one of the attribute, data test is one of the attribute, your id is one of the attribute, name is one of the attribute. Okay, so we can use one of the attribute to distinguish between these three input element. Okay, so more often if you are having id directly, then you can go with the id, because id will always be unique. Okay, class, according to html, class can be, see here id is username, this is unique, right? Here the second, for the second input element, that is this one, see here, sorry, this one, password, see here the password id. So username is different id, password is different id, and for the login button input element, id is login button. So these three are different, so that means unique one. So easily we can go with the id and we can find out this particular input element. Whereas the class, you can go and look for the class attribute. Here we are having input error form input, here also we are having input error form input. Here some, here the class is different, but for these two the class is same. So sometimes class can be a duplicate one. So again we need to, if you are going with the class now, then again we need to distinguish between these two, which one we are talking about. So again we need to go with some other attribute or value. Okay, so best thing is, if you are having id, you can directly go with the id. I will explain for both class and id also, but first let us finish our course with the id attribute. Okay, because it's easy, because we are having a unique value. So how to use the id attribute is, for using the attribute you need to provide in the, see, for element directly you can give / input anywhere in the html element. Go and find for the html element input. Again, in that input, if you want to provide any of the attribute, you need to provide in the square bracket. Okay, so I'm going with the attribute id. Directly you can give id. Okay, id equal to, in single quotes, I think you need to use @id. User name. Sorry guys, I also forget how to, yeah, this is how you need to use. See, if you are using any attribute now, then you need to provide @ symbol at the attribute name id here. Okay, the value you need to provide using equal to what is the attribute value, username. See, now you can see 1 of 1, that means only one element in the entire screen is having this export. Okay, so input element which is having the attribute id with the value username. Okay, so now if you give password now, instead of username, if you give password, see again it will point to the second password field. Okay, so next you want to give the login now, then you need to give this attribute login button. Okay, login - button, it will find the third element. So easily we can go with this one. So now in Eclipse we will try to find all these elements. Okay, so after navigating to this particular website, now we need to find the username field. So finding the username field is using driver.find element. This method you need to call. So inside this one you need to have the by, this class you need to have as a parameter inside the find element method. Okay, by dot, and going, this is the selector you need to give. Always I will be using the export selector. Okay, so inside this export, so whatever export you have prepared, you need to provide it here. So first thing is id is the username, right? Copy this one, provide it here. This will find the element. Once it find the element, it will return the type of web element. It will return a web element. Okay, we need to store it in one variable. I'm saying this is as a username element. Okay, so again you need to import the class. So whenever you are using any Selenium class, you need to import it here. Then only compiler will come to know about this class. Okay, it will go and check in the particular folder and it will get to know about that particular class. So here web element will be in org openka Selenium. Okay, so here I have imported that web element class. So now I have found out that username field. So once you found out the element, using that element you can give the value. So how you are going to enter the value in this particular element? So now we need to enter this value, right? Standard user or any username we need to provide here, right? So we need to enter, right? How we can do this? I will go with the standard user value using send keys method. So in Selenium you need to call this method send keys, and inside the send keys you need to pass the string. Okay, see, there are many methods and many methods will have some condition. So see, this maximum method simply you need to call, but for this to method, navigate.to method, you need to pass the string. So likewise for this web element, if you want to enter any values, you need to call this method and you need to pass the value which you need to enter as a string. Okay, so I am going to give us standard user. So now we are done with entering username. Next thing is we need to enter the password. So password, again the same thing, copy this one. Instead of username field, now I need to find the password field. See, whenever you call find element method, it will return one element. Web element will get returned. So only you are assigning to web element variable. That web element variable you need to provide the value. That variable name you need to provide accordingly you want. Okay, see here I am finding the username element. So I am going with the name username. So you can go with any name you want. You can give username or any name you want, un or something like this. But you should, whenever someone is reading your code, right, they should be able to understand what you are trying to find here. See, I am trying to find the username field, so I am going with the name username element. If someone come and see my code, they can easily understand, okay, this is username element, and in the username element they are passing some values, they are entering some values. Okay, so likewise this is the password element. The XPath will be id password, right? The XPath will be input id equal to value will be password. So and we need to enter the value as secret sauce. This is the password that will we need to enter. Okay, next thing is login button. Instead of element we can give username field or username text box or something like that. Password text box. Okay, now I'm going to find the login button, so I'll go with the login button. So our login button ID is this one, login button. Sorry, here ID equal to login button. And see, button, what we need to do is we cannot enter the values to this field, right? Only for the text field we can enter the value. So only we are calling set keys. Okay, and we are passing the value which we need to enter. But for the button we need to click on that button, right? So we need to call the method click. You should do the right operation for the correct element. Okay, so this is the text pass element, so we need to pass the same keys. I didn't change the name here. Okay, password text pass, we need to pass the same keys. and for login method we need to call the login click. Okay, you will try to run this code. First it will launch the browser, maximize it, navigate to the URL, and see it was very fast. So it was first you will go with only the username, text box and password. You will find the login button, but you will not click that login button. So just you will find out that login button, but we will not call the click method because we just want to see how it works, right? So I'm calling this method. I'm running this application. It will launch the browser, maximize it, enter the URL. See, now you can see it entered the username standard user and it entered the password secret sauce. That's what we give in this Eclipse code. Okay, in this Java class we are given this line of code, right? Standard user and secret sauce. It was able to find the element and it was able to enter the value successfully. Okay, and it was able to find the login button also, but we didn't click that element. That's why it was staying in this screen. Okay, once we click on this login element, it will go to this particular screen, right? So now we will click this element. Our next step should be like, now we should be sure that we are landed in this particular screen or not. So how we can do it is, we need to do that verification, right? We can go do the verification like this: driver dot get title. Okay, what this method will do is it will return the title. Title means this swag labs. No, for every screen the title will be swag labs only. We will get the URL. Get, see, for everything title will be swag labs, so we will get the URL. Okay, the URL will be this one: inventory source demo.com inventory.html. This will be the URL. Okay, so whenever I call this get current URL, it will return this value. So we need to store it in a string because that is a string value. It will return the string. Okay, so after login URL, I'm storing this variable, naming this variable as after login URL. I'm getting the, after clicking on the login button, I will be landing to this particular screen. Okay, so here the URL will be like this. So I'm getting that URL. Okay, and I'm storing it in this one. So now I'm doing the verification like if, using if condition, I'm going to verify whether this after login URL. Now this value will be this one, right? This is the value I will be having. So I'm checking whether that contains, see, I need to check for inventory.html because see here, now only we are having, in this screen only we are having inventory.html. Before that, see, we don't have that inventory.html. So once you provide standard user value, okay, and the secret sauce value, see, once you click on login, then only you can see the URL get changed to inventory.html. That means after entering login, we are getting this inventory.html. So in this inventory.html file only, they will be having this HTML code that will be displaying this kind of screen. Okay, product list, they are written in this inventory.html. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to check for inventory.html is inside this URL or not. If it contains that inventory.html, then we are fine. We have successfully navigated to new screen. That is the message we will try to provide. Else will provide like login successful. okay, else it display like login unsuccessful, login failed. Okay, now I am going to run this program. Okay, now our code should have run successfully. Let's see here, login successfully. Okay, that means it was returning the correct this entire URL inventory.html entire URL it was returning, and inside that one verifying inventory.html is available or not, so only it was displaying login successful. Okay, so we will try to print that URL also, so only will come to know what URL it has written for that current URL after login URL. You provide some message also, current URL is, it will print the, it will append that value after login URL, whatever it is, it will append. Okay, and again okay, now go and check. See, current URL is sourcedemo.com inventory.html. So in this one only, after login URL only, we are checking whether it contains inventory.html. Yes, it contains inventory.html. So that means our login is successful. So this is the, see, this is how automation we need to do. We need to verify each and everything because we are doing it automatically, right, using Selenium. So every action after navigating to any screen, we need to do some verification whether we are the screen navigated successfully or not. So now we verify that one. Yes, we are able to see the inventory.html and we made sure that login is working successful. Okay, so this is how we need to do the verification. In the next course, I will try to see manually. Here we are doing if condition correct using system.out.println. I am saying login is successful. So in the next tutorial, I will try to go with the test-ng framework. Okay, so in the test-ng framework, we can do some asset condition. It will check again, it is similar to the if condition, but it will show the number of steps that got pause or fail. So you will understand in the next tutorial. If you have any doubts in this particular one, please provide in the comment section. We will discuss further. Okay, thank you.